This paper represents one of the worst investment I did where I lost $15,000. And this is the graph that represents the long agony. However, I want you to learn everything I learned during this terrible mistake because it will be done again by, I hope not you if you watch this full video, but other people in crypto and maybe in the stock market. By the way, welcome on Hands On Finance, where we normally study what's happening on chain. Here we are going to study what's happening on the stock market and something really particular so you can know how to avoid to lose the money and make even more money. Don't forget to pour down your little matcha and let's get to it. To fully understand my mistake, we have to roll back in time 2020. And at that time, the crypto market is going up like crazy. So what happened when the crypto market is going up is that I feel smart. Why? Because finally my investment is validated. And everyone around me is like, wow, you were so smart, Antoine. I remember one of my ex telling me, you were a visionary. And then of course, when the market crashed, it's like, you're stupid. I recalled one of my old dreams, which is to become an angel investor. A noble cause. I always saw the angel investing when I was younger in the startup era. And I was like, that's what I want to do because I just want to invest my money and to not have to work. No, but the thing is behind it is to be able to spot what will work in the future, to have this kind of vision. And this is where my ego started to trick me into losing $15,000. Because until I signed this paper, my life was amazing. I was living in Taiwan. To prove it by data, we did not have any lockdown in Taiwan when I was there. So I was doing stand-up comedy every week, almost every day doing 5 to 10 cold approaches in the street, getting conversions after conversions. We could not have dreamed of a better time.
Let's get back to investing, please.
How those pre-IPO investment works, you get a bunch of paper, you sign them, you do a wire transfer, and then you wait. You're waiting until it gets listed on the stock market. And at this time, you will be able to sell your stock or to even buy more stock if you did a good investment and you think it will grow in the future. Now, because I was just thinking about my status and what kind of name or attribute it will give me, which is angel investor, I overlooked some of the data that could give me some insights. For example, the number of IPOs in the United States was booming already in 2020. And in 2021, it was even higher. This is exactly the moment I invested. There was a lot of IPOs going on in the market. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to invest pre-IPO. That means when it's not yet on the market and we get released in 2022, it's always easy when you look at the past, what kind of mistakes and what you should have done in a different way. That's why I want to share it with you, because in crypto today we have the pre-IDO investment before it gets listed on decentralized exchange like Uniswap or other things. For example, Satoshi VM, that was a total crash launch recently. Maybe you would have invested pre-IDO. And there's a lot of opportunities like that are flourishing on the market because the market is growing. You have to understand that it's not for everyone, and we will see for who it is and how you can make it a better investment decision, because I had tons of learning and it was painful. Fast forward to August 2022, finally it goes public and the stock dropped drastically on the launch. On top of that, I did not receive 15,000 shares as I was supposed to, but only 3,550 because of some financial thing that I did not understand. They say, okay, we're going to dilute the shares like this and you will have this much instead. So if I sold those 3,500 shares, maybe I would have sold it at $3. Anyways, I would have maybe made $6,000 to $8,000, but I was not able to sell on the day it went live, because when you get those shares, you need to sign another paper and do some weird things. So they will transfer it to your brokerage account. However, you are often not able to sell on the first day when the stock gets listed to avoid this. Now, some rumor says that the CEO was dumping at this time. I don't know that. That's actually an important point, because if I got this opportunity, it's because I knew the CEO in real life, and he's a really good guy. I think he's really smart in business. After being listed on the stock market, it's a totally different game. And me, I'm seeing this, having the bear market, and it's keep going down. I'm like, oh no, not again. But it went back up to $2. At this point, I'm doing something really stupid. I'm thinking I'm going to stay in this investment until I get back my initial investment of $15,000. And this is just stupidity of investments at its max. Before I show you my double mistake and how you could avoid it, let's understand a bit more of the data. The IPO returns is really rare to make money. So you have to invest in different companies to be able to do that. And also, you know that you will have a really low chance. So if your network only provides you 1 to 2 opportunities, then you're not big enough. You just are not big enough for this game. And you have to understand it's not your competition. You have to do it somewhere else. Well, that's what I should have understood, because I did the second investment at this time for $25,000 in a crypto company. This company is having struggles and maybe they will go out. It's still a good service. However, I'm like, why did I invest it? Because I don't see what they would do in the stock market now. It would take 5 to 10 years. So if I take those $25,000 and put it in crypto, which one would bring me better returns with less risk and more liquidity? Well, there's a high chance that it will be crypto. This company that I'm talking about, they buy online businesses that are like in SEO, agencies, and it's a conglomerate of it. But I never saw actually a company in a NASDAQ that was in the top 100 or top 500 with this. I never saw an agency in the top 500. So now, retrospecting, I'm like, what I was thinking of. Even this company can do really well in the future, and I wish them that. But you have to understand that at this time as well, everyone was investing pre-IPO because there was the SPAC, which were pushed by shamans, and it was a disaster. For example, the SPAC that he promoted, they all crashed. And if you compare to the S&P 500, it would have been just better to stay in the S&P 500. When we check the curve, it's just the same as what I was showing you here. But we had a pump. What happened? Up to $2. This newsletter by Travis, venture capitalist investing.io, was saying that the company On4 was super undervalued. So you would buy $1 for 50 cents because they had a big treasury. The stock went back up and I just didn't sell. Then it crashed down again. Because I sold like $2, I'm at $6,000. It's not enough. I want to get back my initial to prove that I am not a bad investor. I'm the worst investor in that case. This is why it's a double mistake, because I had the chance to get out, but because I wanted to prove myself something, I didn't. Where if I had some stop order or limit orders, I could have at least sold a bit. And now what I was thinking while organizing my thoughts for this video is that I should just sell it, accept my loss, take whatever I can and just sell it, which would have been a triple mistake because it would have been an emotional act. If I want to sell, I should check their numbers. Let's see where it goes, because recently one of the companies in their portfolio is now more towards Web3 and gaming, which could be a good thing. Web3 gamer, 4,000 followers, Gamer's Choice Award, okay, and a fairly small YouTube channel, which I don't really like. Like, how could they do only 32 views? I launched my channel really recently, and I do more views without having any big team behind it or any big capital that I used. Probably the best thing for now will be to set up some limit orders so I can get out at whatever price I target and check their financial situation. Now, it's exactly the same thing in crypto. Everyone wants to be on the Launchpad, on all those things, to be as close as possible to the launch, but it's not for everyone. to be really close to the launch, you have to have a big capital to be able to diversify your bets, but also some good connections. So they will be willing to connect you and see some benefits of it. But even if I lost $10,000 to $15,000, this was such a great opportunity. It was like buying a big course, a big coaching thing where I could learn how it works to invest pre-IPO. And I'm glad I did this mistake before I was 30 years old, because imagine if I do this mistake at 50 or 60 years old, this will be devastating. Here, it was just like a rock in my shoes. It's fine. It doesn't affect me. But I learned all the thing is that first, don't invest just to gain status. For me, it was to become an angel investor. Second thing, never wait for an investment to get back to where you get in to get your initial back. This is not rational. This is just emotional and not accepting that your investment can be bad, which is related to ego again. And then the third one is to not act emotionally either, because when this never happened, that it goes back to your initial, you're like, okay, now I'm just going to dump it. And it's again emotional. Always try to act rational, stoicism, whatever you want, but just do it like that. And if your portfolio is below 50K or 100K, I would probably say that stay away from pre-IDO or other investment that let you go in before it goes public. You need to diversify it a bit more and learn the other thing. That's why probably this strategy will fit more your needs and you will find really great opportunities. Because actually, we are lucky that in the crypto market, you don't really need to be before the launch to still make 10x or 100x. So check out this video. And I hope you enjoyed this one. It was a story. I know it doesn't give me a lot of credits, but it's important to share my mistakes with you. Not everything is always in the green. And don't forget one thing. Of course, the matcha is always in the green, but also stay handsome. Ciao.